Thank you so much. Oh, gosh. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. So kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. Gosh. I always have one wardrobe malfunction at these things. And this keeps slipping down below the bra. So I have met a beautiful Ukrainian refugee woman over in the corner who has made it out and is a young actress. And she's holding up the evening for me. So, bravo, darling. Good luck to you. So Leonard ruined my speech because I'm going to tell it to you anyway. In 1973, it was the summer after my first year in drama school, and I had a job in New Haven, Connecticut, cleaning urinals. Really, it's a true story, cleaning urinals. And I heard that a friend of mine got cast, that I knew in college, got cast in a big movie. And it was the first person I ever met, that I ever knew, that had been cast in a movie. Michael Moriarty was a beautiful young actor. So all my friends, after work, we went to the movie theater to see him. And it was the story of two baseball players. Michael was a pitcher, and then it was a friend of his who was a catcher, I think, it was called Bang the Drum Slowly. And Michael was great, but we all agreed that the kid they found in the South, non-actor, clearly non-actor, incredible performance. And then we thought they must have scoured Appalachia to find this guy who was he looked ill. And it was a very sad movie, but it was amazing. He was great. So 2 months later, same theater, we go to see Martin Scorsese's new movie, Mean Streets. And there's the guy. There's the kid, same kid. And only he's not slow, he's not Southern, he's a New York punk, and he's absolutely mean, fast-talking, street-smart guy. And we were blown away. We scoured the credits and saw his name. I said, my God, he's Italian. He's Robert De Niro. He's an actor, and it really blew me away. So anyway, over the years, people have always said to me, whose career what actress do you most admire? What actress's career would you like to emulate? And I say, and this is honest, I revere these women. I say Geraldine Page, Colleen Dewhurst, Irene Worth, Vanessa Redgrave, Lee Volman, Maggie Smith, Carol Lombard, Barbara Stanwyck. But really, the second time I saw Robert De Niro, I said to myself, that's the kind of actor I want to be. That's what I want to do. And I want to do it with the commitment and the passion and the skill and the beauty with which that he applies to it. And he's been my beacon for 50 years, I swear to God. Now, when I heard that the Ransom Center had secured Bob's papers, I will admit that I thought, yeah, but are they going to get all the papers? Are they going to get all the little papers that he has right in here? Just all these little scrabbly bits of paper. Like you'll say to him, Bob, I have a friend needs to sublet downtown. He goes, I got this. I got it. Oh yeah, okay. You go to him, you say it's okay. You say, it's okay, I know you're okay, and take care. But it doesn't matter, how many notes he puts in the margins. His papers, the little papers in his breast pocket, the books he read, the music he listened to, it's hard. I don't know if you're spelunking around in there, if you're going to be able to find the secret of his power and what he does. Move the teleprompter, because I've completely gone up. Okay. Keep going. Yeah. So, what it is he does, I do have little landmarks, believe it or not. His strength comes from what he doesn't say, what he doesn't show you, what he doesn't tell, what's held in reserve. It's like a kind of a seismic power of what he could do if he wanted to. He's a man of many contradictions. He has the quality of consistency of character, but as an actor, he's almost completely unpredictable. The astounding catalog of characters that he's created over his life, within and outside the beautiful collaboration he has with his friend Martin Scorsese, is without parallel. But his modesty is self-effacing and real. He's a man whose presence in my life for 40 years is been a consoling constant. But I don't see him very often. We don't chat, But I know he is, without question, always there for me. And he always will be. He's a man who lives by his loyalty to his ideals, to his country, and to the people that he loves. He's a true blue patriot. Let me tell you, most Americans I know were very deeply affected by the events of 9/11. But for those of us who lived downtown, in Lower Manhattan, on that brilliant Tuesday that went dark, it has an affect that's, you can smell. I can taste. With an actor, what actors call sense memory. Remembering it makes my knees go like sand. Robert De Niro's patriotism on the ground that day, and in the days that followed, was heroic. His strength of purpose and determination to rescue and ultimately help restore our devastated neighborhood, truly heroic. Together with his business partner, Jane Rosenthal, and his friends, restaurateurs, realtors, business people, they fed the first responders in those first early weeks, but then they put their money and their imagination where their mouths were, and they organized a way to attract people back to Lower Manhattan, and at the same time honored those who perished. Tribeca Films Festival, which he started, founded in 2001, still draws thousands of people to an area of town whose hopes and whose economy had collapsed with the towers. And we can thank Bob for being a big part of the miracle of that Renaissance and the revival of our great city. His decision to endow effects of his life's work here at the extraordinary Ransom Center, if I had anything worth saving, believe me, is an act of public service of another order. Costumes, papers, props, music, film, video, they're all going to provide valuable insight into how magic is made. And his further generosity in underwriting the fellowship and for Mr. Wilson to be the film curator here, it's going to give students and academicians and cultural historians and just regular curious people a chance to peer into the process of one of the premier collections of cultural artifacts in the world. Bob's contributed mightily to our culture, and he continues to share his gifts with us. And I just want to thank everybody here who donated to help support the center, and for inviting me so I can thank my friend for everything he's given me in inspiration, in love, and as an example. So thank you, everybody, for preserving the tangible effects of the completely intangible, mysterious art of Robert De Niro.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Meryl. Thank you. Thank you for that loving introduction. Thank you. And I also want to thank you for proofreading and correcting the spelling in all the papers I turned over to the Ransom Center. And thank you, Leonard. I started transferring my papers and memorabilia to the Ransom Center in 2006, when already 40-plus years into my career, I had accumulated an appalling amount of stuff. It was going to be either the Ransom Center or an episode of Hoarders. I don't know how I became such a pack rat, but I've always felt that there's a connection between our history and the items and atmosphere that remind us of that history. And for example, I've kept my father's art studio just the way he left it, right down to the dry cleaning hanging in the closet. And it helps me keep in touch with him and his legacy. I've taken my kids there from time to time so that they will know him too. And of course, I could just tell them about their grandfather, the artist. But it seems more real when they can walk into his studio and see where he worked and get a sense of his process and his spirit. And maybe it was those feelings of connecting to our past through something tangible that motivated me as I saved every script, costume, prop, award, correspondence, calendar, and notes. I thought that maybe someday my family would get something out of all that crap. At first, I hadn't considered that there might be a greater interest, that my quote-unquote souvenirs could help illuminate our connection to an era in film. And I started to see the value of keeping the collection together rather than parceling it out. A piece here, a piece there. If I didn't do something to keep it intact, little by little, it would disappear. My colleague, the invaluable Robin Chambers, has been my partner in planning this arrangement with the Ransom Center. Around 2004, she showed me Marlon Brando's personal annotated Godfather script for sale on eBay. Yeah, it made me very uncomfortable to think that this document which could be a window into the mind and process of one of our greatest actors, would be sold to a collector or a fan who might keep it in a shelf or a drawer and never be shared with family, friends, students, historians, cinephiles. I wanted my family to have access to my keepsakes because it's part of their heritage, just the way my dad's studio and work was a part of mine. And then if someday they want to sell it on eBay, well, then at least the family will benefit. But really, though, I wanted it to be available to my children and their children and their children's children. It took a bit longer for me to concede that my own collected papers and mementos could have some meaning to others. Until then, I thought of my stuff as personal and outside of my family. I hadn't really considered that it would be useful to anyone else. I didn't want to be so presumptuous as to think that I had some hidden treasure or something like that. The Ransom Center's interest then was both surprising and humbling. I realized that there could be something among the papers and props, costumes and videos that might enlighten or entertain anyone who would be interested. I've accumulated all this material because I've been uncommonly lucky to have crossed paths with some of the greatest artists and other public figures of my time. The material given to the Ransom Center isn't just my story, it's an important part of the stories of Martin Scorsese, Elia Kazan, Harvey Keitel, Francis Ford Coppola, Meryl Streep, Al Pacino, Irwin Winkler, Bertolucci, Tarantino, Leo DiCaprio, Michelle Pfeiffer, Joe Pesci, Marlon Brando, and a few thousand more. Actors, directors, producers, writers, costumers, hairstylists, prop masters, stunt people, and crew members who were my collaborators. I trust that their work and creativity come through the relics I'm leaving behind. Robert and I started looking for a home for the archive about 20 years ago. We had a simple set of criteria. We wanted to be in a preeminent institution. It was important to keep the collection together, and we insisted on world-class administrators, preservationists, and curators, and the public had to have easy access to the materials. The Harry Ransom Center was the obvious choice. I was thrilled and humbled that you accepted my gift. And I'm moved by the company it keeps. You've got Stella Adler, Samuel Beckett, T.S. Eliot, Tom Stoppard, Harry Houdini, David Mamet, Paul Schrader, Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams, Ernest Lehman, David O. Selznick, Frida Kahlo, Picasso. I imagine my papers talking to their papers, or trying to anyway, and their papers asking my papers, what the hell are you doing here? Well, really, it's okay. I'm flattered just to be in the neighborhood. Such a wealth of ideas, artistry, and innovation in literature, art, photography, performing arts, and film. You have more than 35 million manuscripts, 5 million photographs, 100,000 works of art, and nearly 1 million books, many of which I guess have been banned in this state. Yeah, I know this is Austin, but we are still in Texas. There are so many treasures. The first photograph, an iconic Frida Kahlo self-portrait. There's even a Gutenberg Bible. A fucking Gutenberg Bible. I mean, I've been a big supporter of Martin Scorsese's passion for film preservation. We're grateful for the magnificent restorations of classics he's rescued from the decay and damage to fragile film stock. It's also important to preserve the narrative of film history to enhance our understanding and appreciation of the films themselves. The Harry Ransom Center is a leader in that essential mission to preserve our cultural heritage. But the collection isn't quite complete. There are still some papers in the basement at Mar-a-Lago. I've been having some problems getting them released. They may have to send in the FBI. It's my great good fortune that since the beginning of my association with the center, my collection has been under the sensitive, intelligent, and expert care of curator of film, Steve Wilson. And Steve, thank you and your team for producing the exhibition. Honestly, if I'd seen all my junk displayed so elegantly, I think I would have kept it. To ensure that the Center's film collection continues its leadership in quality and accessibility, the Center has created an endowment to provide support to benefit the entire film collection and to make the curator of film a fully funded position. I know many of you here in this room tonight contributed to this initiative. Thank you for your generosity. And I'm so very pleased that the first person to hold that position is Steve Wilson. And it's the honor of a lifetime that the Harry Ransom Center has named the appointment the Robert De Niro Curator of Film. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all very much. Thank you.